For more than 75 years, amphibious assaults against hostile shores have had a successful record. Even when subjected to intense and protracted naval and air defenses and the nominal forerunner of today's anti-access or area denial A2AD threat, these landings were never turned back. During the Okinawa Campaign, Japan launched nearly 2,000 sorties by kamikaze suicide planes, sinking 20 Allied ships, damaging almost 200 more and inflicting the highest number of U.S. naval casualties in any battle of World War II. Once ashore, land forces often faced protracted struggles to complete the seizure of the Pacific island or break out of their beachheads in Italy and northern France. However, no combination of air, sea and land defenses were able to prevent amphibious forces from coming ashore. Following the remarkable amphibious assault by United Nations forces at Incheon during the Korean War in 1950, there have been only a few large-scale amphibious operations against a contested shore. The UK's successful campaign in 1982 to liberate the Falkland Islands from Argentina involved relatively small forces on both sides, neither well organized nor equipped for their respective missions. During the 1991 Persian Gulf War, Central Command prepared for the possibility of conducting a large-scale opposed landing against Iraqi forces stationed along Kuwait's coast. However, according to the Pentagon's formal report to Congress, conduct of the Persian Gulf War, an amphibious assault was foregone due to concerns about the intensity of Iraqi beach defenses, gaps in critical amphibious assault capabilities, particular demining assets, and a desire to avoid damage to Kuwaiti infrastructure. A quarter-century later, the rise of near-peer and regional state adversaries foreshadows the possibility that the Navy and Marine Corps will have to plan not just for a large-scale assault against a hostile shore but for an amphibious campaign to seize, liberate multiple strategic land objectives. Not only will the scale and intensity of this mission dwarf any amphibious operations the sea services have conducted in more than 2 decades, but it is likely that the contested littorals would be better defended than any that U.S. amphibious forces have faced since the end of World War II. Even in the absence of state-on-state conflict, the proliferation of A2 or AD capabilities will allow non-state actors to pose an increased threat to the ability of amphibious forces. According to the Navy Marine Corps concept for littoral operations in a contested environment. The increasingly contested operating environment marks a return to the historic norm, with the added challenge posed by 21st-century sensors and weapons. Friendly naval forces now routinely face land-based and sea-based threats employed by state and non-state actors who are implementing sea denial strategies. Armed with increasingly formidable sea denial capabilities, future adversaries may be capable of controlling choke points, holding key maritime terrain, or denying freedom of action and maneuver within the littorals by imposing unacceptable risk to forces at ever-increasing ranges. Additionally, some potential adversaries are attempting to expand their sea denial capabilities into the ability to achieve sea control. Once ashore, Marine land forces may face numerically superior adversaries but without a doubt will have to contend with hostile forces equipped with a range of armored fighting vehicles, advanced precision anti-vehicle weapons, long-range fire systems, manned and unmanned aerial systems, high-performance air defenses, electronic warfare capabilities and a wealth of mines, booby traps and improvised explosive devices. Hence, Marine units must expect to be engaged in high-end combat from the moment they cross the beach. Multiple studies and efforts by independent analysts have produced a host of recommendations to improve the sea service's abilities to deal with the emerging A2 or AD environment and to ameliorate capability gaps that limit their ability to assault hostile shores. These recommendations tend to fall into one of 2 basic categories. The first category is quantitative and qualitative enhancements to existing capabilities. One recent study proposed procurement of additional surface ships, advanced carrier-based aviation and long-range munitions for the Navy and additional short takeoff and vertical landing F-35Bs, MV-22 Ospreys and KC-130Js, adding artillery fires units and accelerating the amphibious combat vehicle for the Marine Corps. The second category focuses more on changes in operational concepts, tactics and organization that would allow the Navy and Marine Corps to undercut the strengths of an A2 or AD environment. A 2016 study that focused specifically on ways of addressing the threats posed to naval combatants, amphibious forces and marine units from long-range precision weapons recommended, inter alia, a combination of more agile and lethal forces. This would require the proliferation of long-range fires, both ship and land-based expanded air and missile defenses, faster and longer-range ship-to-shore connectors and lighter-weight marine ground vehicles. Virtually all reports and studies on the future of amphibious operations and ways of countering the emerging threats recommend increasing the size of the fleet of amphibious warfare vessels. The minimum desired level is 38 ships, the number needed to lift 2.5 Marine Expeditionary Brigades, the number the Court believes is required to conduct a major landing operation. Several analyses propose higher numbers, between 40 to 50 amphibs. Calls for higher numbers are based partially on the belief that the nation needs to deploy more amphibious-ready groups, ARG, with their Marine Expeditionary Unit than current fleet size permits and, in part, on the desirability of raising the number of ships in the ARG from 3 to 4 ships. A larger amphibious warfare fleet also offers possibilities for adapting some vessels for other missions. The size and capacity of modern amphibious vessels, particularly the USS San Antonio, LPD-17, class and the follow-on LXR, all of them to serve as platforms for new capabilities such as long-range artillery, cruise missiles and vertical launching system tubes, missile defenses and directed energy weapons. Whatever specific operational concepts, tactics or technologies are proposed to enhance the Navy and Marine Corps ability to operate and prevail in the contested littorals, none are likely to prove effective if the number of amphibious warfare ships is not substantially increased. The faster the Navy begins construction of the advanced LRX, to replace its aging landing ship dock, the sooner new tactics can be developed and means deployed to defeat the A2AD threat.
Just come back away from 5-1 or they're going to illuminate down there today. We want to go to the beach. We went to the beach. Go to the beach.
if there's any problems, I kind of coordinate what help.
You do that too at the brigade level, going down to the battalion level.
Yeah, I mean, and that's,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
when
we
it comes
do.
down to it, the way that the Army operates is very similar.
Oh yeah.